Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to your Wednesday. We are on our third step of the Snowflake Method, and today will be really fun, in my opinion. It's a step that I really need to spend a little bit more time on, and even Shakespeare knew this. Wherefore art thou, Romeo, deny thy father, and forswear thy name? What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name will smell so sweet. So we're going to be focusing on characters' names, not just their names, but what make them who they are. So we're going to do a character sheet for each of our primary characters. You don't have to do one for every character in your book, at least not right now. But we're going to focus on your main characters. And usually that could be however many characters are your main characters in your book. For me, I have, I think I have about five main characters in my book, if I'm not mistaken. Good morning, good morning, good morning, my sweet daughter. Let me change the size of this foot right now. I was meaning to do this yesterday because it is huge on the screen. But it is so good to see you. How have you been? And it's still huge. What's the deal? It won't go. Hold on. I don't know if I can actually change it, the size of it, while we are live. Let's see again. I did. I did. Okay, I will check your DM a little bit later. But I'm glad to see you. It's been a while. So, yes, what's in a name? To me, a name is very important. It is what, to me, make you who you are. When I went through naming my children, I'm glad you actually happy and doing better. Wow, that is a good thing. So, my children's name meant a lot to me. So, I had put some deep thought into my children's name. Like my first daughter's name, um, me and my husband had to agree on it together. I really wasn't too keen on what was her name? Courtney. Shame. I wanted to name her Taylor Elizabeth, but no one in my family liked that name. So my husband liked the name Courtney, and I think at the time when I named her that, I was watching this it was weird. When I was pregnant, I would watch kids shows and PBS specials about children and things your kids would watch. And it was this girl, she was a teenager, preteen. Her name was Courtney. So I named her Courtney, and her daddy wanted an English name, so gave her a middle name of Victoria. We had to agree on it together because initially he wanted her name to be, well, Millicent. No. And then when my second baby came along, I had met this little girl while I was pregnant at Courtney's school. And she was just the sweetest little girl. When I walked in, I was looking for her classroom and she said, "Can I help you?" Now she's no more than about 8. And I'm sure that wasn't her job to direct me to the classroom at the time. And I said, "Sure." And she knew my daughter and she took me to her classroom. And I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Madison." I said, "Madison, I love your name." So that's where I got my middle daughter's name, Madison. And my baby girl, my surprise package, I wanted a unisex name. First, her name was going to be Kyron. And that was a friend gave me that name. And that just did not stick with me. I couldn't. Kylan. Yeah, her name would have been Kylan. I used to call her Kylan. And it just didn't feel right. Something about that name didn't feel right. So I did a lot of thinking, and I remember we were sitting at the kitchen table. And my husband had his little liquor there, a bottle of, I guess it was rum. Yeah, I'm telling. So anyway, I wasn't drinking, and I like Peyton. And it was during the time of football season because I had a huge crush on Peyton Manning. So I said, Peyton is a unisex name. I don't hear a lot of girls named Peyton. So we're going to call her Peyton. I said, well, now we need to think of a middle name. And he said, Morgan, after Captain Morgan. I said, no, we're not naming my baby after no liquor. So I came up with Reese. That was a friend of my cousin actually, who was a lawyer. She was a strong black woman, and I just loved her name. But she was so friendly and outgoing. So the fact that her name was different and her personality matched, I said, we're gonna name her Peyton Reese. So yeah, I named my baby Peyton Reese. So a name to me is very important. And another thing about my name, I hated my name. Oh, I hated my name so much. But when my mom gave me a little history about my name, she named me after Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy Bouvier. I used to hate it because the kids in school used to tease me all the time about my name, and used to have a song, Tisha, Tisha, Tolly, Tisha, went to the bathroom and whatever. It rhymed, so I hated my name. But as I got older, I realized how special my name is. You know, being Arthur Jacqueline Onassis was somebody to be proud of. So I embrace Bouvier. I love it. Except I didn't like my first name, so because people always call me Latricia or Patricia, Trish, or I didn't like that because that was not my name. So I just made it short, Tish. So yeah, that's what my name is, Tish Bouvier. And I like it because it defines who I am. And that's what you want to do today is to get some good names of your character to define who they are and how, their roles in your book. So when we talk about a character, your character sheet today, there's so step 3 is you're gonna write a summary sheet for each character. And when I was reading this book, Goldilocks read her story out, her first step and her second step, the summary of her story. And she realized it still wasn't good. And Baby Bear had to remind her, it's gonna be okay. We're only on step 3. Your story gonna progress even more, so don't get frustrated because it doesn't seem like it's a lot. But you are really getting to know your story as we go along with these steps. So she realized the names that she used was flat, ordinary, didn't have no pizzazz, didn't excite her or anything like that. So my suggestion is to take some time and think about the role of your character and try to find or come up with a name. A simple name is one of the biggest goals as a writer, a name where your readers will remember, you know. So unless you're writing fantasy, the names are totally different. But for like your general fiction, even your cozy mystery, think of a simple name, something that when you're reading your story, your readers would recognize that character, something that's easy to pronounce. They don't have to try to break it down and figure out what this name is. The shorter, the better. And trying to make it unique at the same time. You know, instead of having all your characters' names start with an A or a J, try to use something unique and different, and at the same time is easy for the readers to pronounce and to remember who this character is. That was one book I read years ago. Oh gosh, it was a Toni Morrison book. I can't remember. I think it was Paradise. She has so many characters. I couldn't remember who was who in that story. So that's something you really want to think about based on your genre. Now, when we do our summary sheet for each character, we want to focus first on the name. And I'm going to share with you two sites that I go to generate names. And let me show you. Wow. Oh, I can't show you, but I'm going to put the link in the description. No, the link in the chat. One is with Reese, and I like that. You can pick what ethnic or nationality you want the name to derive from, and it will also give you, I think, a little profile. But there's another site in the UK that I use all the time. It is amazing. They have a huge database of names, and you can combine it with your first and last name. And I'm not sure about the middle name, but you might. And they would generate so many names. And on top of that, they would generate a profile for that person. So I'm not saying that you may want to use that particular profile, but you can take bits and pieces from a variety of profiles that they share with you and bring it into your character. You know, like if you want to know your character background, each character has a background. Each character has a story. Now, their story and their background is not as important as your main character. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to include things you need to have on your character sheet. First, you need a role. They need to have a role. You know, whether it's your hero, your villain, your sidekick, a family member, a friend, a mentor. Then you need to name your character. To me, name is very important. So if you have a role, you probably gonna like if it's a your hero. So you might want a strong name for your hero, or you may want to go to the opposite and have some kind of weak and frivol name because it's all in the perception and what we see visualize our character to be. Then each of your characters, your main characters, need a goal, and a goal is something concrete. The concrete goal of the character for his story, which means what is their main purpose? What do they hope to accomplish? What do they want to do within your story? And then an ambition. An ambition is concrete too. And I forgot. Ambition, I would say something that drives them to their goals, something that, yeah, drives them either further to their goal. Then each of your character needs a value. And you can start with nothing is more important than, and I would say add 2 to 3 values for your character because people in general have more than one value. So start each of those sentences by saying nothing is more important than my family. Nothing is more important than for Bay is her identity. She wants to know who she really is. So nothing to her is more important than her identity. And at this point of the story, nothing is more important than finding out who killed Getty. So I'm trying to think, does she have another important? Yeah, nothing is more important than rescuing animals because she loves animals. So you're going to focus on the value. Then there's a conflict. Each character should have a conflict, your major character, especially your main character. And this keeps the character, a conflict keeps the character from achieving their goal. So find out what your character goal is, what drives them for their goal, and also the conflict, what keeps them from achieving that goal. And I think, if I remember, I have to go back in my story. What keeps Bay from her goal is her own personal secret. She don't want anyone to find out that she's a psychic, that she's a clairsentient. She don't want anyone to know that. She don't want anyone to know that her and Getty was her mentor when she was learning about the tarot cards. She don't want anyone, especially her Aunt Ivy, who's a diehard Christian woman. So that's her conflict. But people gonna wondering, how do Bay know our secret? Bay knows just as much about everyone in this town as Getty did, and they trying to figure out, what did Getty know to get her killed? So you're going to include a conflict and your epiphany of your character. Each character, except your villain, should have an epiphany. An epiphany is like, what will your character learn by the end of the story? I like to call it that aha moment, you know? And I think for Bay, her epiphany, I don't know if it's going to stay the same, but I might change it because I want it to be a little bit more deeper. But for now, is realizing that it doesn't matter what's on her DNA. It's the family that raised her, the love of her family, the unconditional love. So that may be her epiphany, because right now she feels like she's all alone. There's no one that truly love her. Everybody been lying to her all her life, so she forgot about the love and the family unity and the value and all this other good stuff. Plus she might have another epiphany, but that's what she's going to learn at the end of this story. So, and once you get the epiphany, you're going to focus on a one sentence summary of each of your primary characters. Now, one sentence summary is your character personal story. Your novel is a personal story of your lead character, but if you know the personal characters of your supporting characters, then you know what drives them to do what they do. So write a little one sentence summary of your character's personal story. Then we're going to move on to the final step of this here project, this here step, which is a one-page summary. A one-page summary of the 3-act structure of the character's personal story. Now, just keep in mind, not all your primary characters will have all these steps. Like your villain, like I said, your villain don't have an epiphany. He just do his thing. Some of your characters may not have nothing but a one sentence summary. Um, they may not even have that. They may not have a conflict because they're not your major characters. But like I said, knowing the backstory of your primary characters or your supporting characters will give you an idea of what drives them to do the things they do. So this is step 3 of the Snowflake Method. And good morning, writer Dozier. I think that's right. I always call you by your first name. It's so easy. Um, what's the name generator? I always have issues with name. Good. I am going to share that right now in the comments. Let's see. But it is called the name slash generator, not slash. I'm gonna write it down in the comments right now so you can see. And I love it. This is my favorite one. I think it's https dot. You should be able to get it slash slash name generator dot UK. I use this all the time. It's CJRACTER. The hopefully that will work. Add it to the broadcast. That's the name generator. HTTPS name generator org UK slash character. And the other one I just recently discovered is pretty good. It's not as extensive as the one I just shared with you. DPS dot slash slash blog .com I think this is it. Let's see. Oh, CAJRACTER. I love these. I love the first one because it gives you a profile sheet, and on top of that, generator GENERATOR. You can save that profile sheet, and it would take it out of its database, if I'm not mistaken. So if someone comes along and it looks like they have your character in their profile, it don't. It removes it from the database. Only person that knows about that profile sheet if you share that link, because they're going to give you a customized link for that character. Now, let me go to the site to make sure. Oh, it wasn't this one. I typed it in right. Hold on. But I love it. I strongly recommend it. Let's see. Okay. Let me copy, paste it again. I'm going to paste it again. This is for Reezy, just in case it didn't come out good. And this one is, where is it? This one is my favorite one. Copy. I love it. I love this one because you can break this down on religion. I think you can nationalities. You can a birth year if you want a particular year. They flavor if they're a human, a zombie, a vampire, or a witch or a wizard. They can have a title, be a doctor, or however you want. And you can generate up to however many names at one time, including the profile. I love this, and I highly recommend this to everyone. Now, this one right here, that is perfect. Also, I want to share with you one of my viewers. I really like her. I go to her channel a lot. She comes over here every now and then, but she has her own YouTube. I don't know her YouTube channel. But she's also doing make sure I get it right. RIUM LLC. I love her. And I like her so much because she's so natural. She's so authentic. She reminds me a little bit of myself, but her personality lights up. She's doing the Snowflake Method too. She's holding a workshop. And I was looking at her, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, and she brought to my mind, oh, I did a Snowflake Method on my podcast. Let me bring it over to my YouTube channel. So let me see if I can bring her up right quick on my, so I can share her link. You might want to check her out. Hold on. Let me find, oh, here she is. Let me share her link. And she actually she's writing, I think two romance story, if I'm, no, two or three of them at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. And she's applying the Snowflake Method for the first time. So check out her channel. And she's also shared, I can't remember, the Snowflake Method has a free Snowflake Pro writing aid. I didn't write that down that you may want to check out, but she mentions it in her workshop one. Now, make sure you look at the one she done yesterday. She's good. She'll take you through everything, but I really, really like her a lot, and you will too. So this morning, I want to spend some time. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna share her link. That's her link. I like her a lot. So this morning we're gonna spend some time writing. If you're working on another project, that's fine. Um, if you're working and following along with the Snowflake Method, we're gonna spend at least 20 to 40 minutes working on step 3, where you can focus on your name. And I know for me, I need to go back and do some names. I have a main character name. I need to change Getty's daughter's name. When I wrote about her, I thought about my high school friend name, and I couldn't get that name out of my head, but I want to change that. Her name changed several times in my story. I just kept writing. I just knew those were the names I need to focus on. And when I was writing my story, and don't be surprised, which is true, sometimes you're going to have characters pop up out of nowhere. They're going to have a name. I have to go back and look at my draft because there's some names I want to keep because I didn't know where they came from. Like Rhonda, she wants to be Bay's sidekick so fast, so much. I call her her accidental friend because Bay's not really into Rhonda, but somehow they become friends. And Rhonda is really one of these geeky kind of girls who desperately wants to be Bay's friend. So I might change that name, may keep it. She don't have a last name. There was some other names that I wanted to change in there. So I'm gonna work on that and work on because I don't know who Rhonda was initially, but she as the secretary, she answers the phone and everything at the sheriff office. So, and then there was two other characters that popped up in my story. So you want to be careful too, based on your genre, how many characters you include. You don't want to overwhelm your reader with too many characters, you know. So yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna play a little music, and we're gonna start with a 20-minute, 15-minute, and then we're gonna have a 10-minute wrap up. So let's write. Okay, I hope you was productive. I was. So it took me about 20, 40, close to 50 minutes to do one character profile in depth. So it may take you less time for some and more time for the others. I redid Bay. Her real name is Bailey Ray Vons, and like I said, what's important, a name to me is very important. We call her Bay for short. Ray, I got that as my mother's middle name, and Vons is my maiden name. So that's sort of giving honor to my family with these names. So anyway, her role, she's an amateur sleuth. Her goal, and I had to revise. Was it the goal I needed to revise a little bit? No, her goal is one, to get the truth about her identity, and two, why her family kept this lie for 28 years, and three, who killed Getty and why. So Getty, finding out who killed Getty is the main thing of the story because it's a cozy mystery. And her ambition, what drives her to her goal, is getting the truth. Some Bay values truth in this situation. And then when I went to what she values the most, I had to realize I had to change that because I had to make myself think like a young 28-year-old. You know, what I would value at 56 may not be the same value of a 28-year-old. So when you think about a value of your characters, consider their age, their environment, and so nothing is more important than the truth. Remember, I said start your values out with nothing is more important. Well, the truth in this instance. She don't care about the truth in any other situation, but right now it's all about her. She wants to know who she is. She wants to know why her family been lying to her. And she wants to know, she got cut up and needed to know and find out who killed Getty and why. So right now the truth is very important to her. It may not be important to her after she figure out all this. She also valued nothing is more important than her cat. So yeah, her cat is her sidekick. There's a little brief history between her and Mr. Bud DeWiser. So nothing is more important than her cat. And her third value is nothing is more important than her classic 1977 Volkswagen Beetle. So again, I had to think on the level of a 20-year-old who's going through that transition in life. So those are the three most important things to her at this point. And from there, her conflict. Um, she doesn't want to get too involved in people's business, especially the townspeople's business. She's been absent from home for 10 years, and all of a sudden she has to go digging in a business and asking them questions. Now, Getty knew everybody's secret. She knew the town's secret. So that lets you know that people was discreetly going to see Getty for her to find out their secrets. Well, Bay need to question the townspeople because she knows their secret. And her conflict is she don't want to question them because then they'll be wondering how you know this. And if they start questioning how she know this information, she's afraid they may start comparing her to Getty because this Christian town did not like a psychic living there, but they had to live with it because this is what she did and this was her own. So she didn't want people comparing or judging her to Getty, and she didn't want to reveal her psychic abilities to no one. She wanted to keep that secret to herself. So, and then the epiphany, something that aha moment, she realized in the end, you know, because a young 20 something year old, they already think they know everything. So she realized at the end that the truth is only one's perception of reality, which different from person to person, depending on the situation. It may sound confusing, but this is what she realized. She also realized that the truth doesn't always set your mind free. It only opens the door for more questions, more unanswered questions. So that's her epiphany. I might take the beginning out, but she do realize that everyone's truth different from one situation to the next. It's like if you see an accident, and you got five people around that watched it. Everyone saw something different, and it differed from person to person. So yeah, she realized that it doesn't always set your mind free. It just opened the door for more unanswered questions. Excuse me. Then I wrote my one sentence summary for Bay. And your one sentence summary could be your back in the beginning from step one, your first sentence. Bay discovering Bay Vons discovered her DNA doesn't match anyone in her family. She returns home to her small Texas town 10 years later, seeking answers from Getty, the town psychic who was murdered upon her arrival. And then I wrote a quick summary. This is just a rough draft, so it's there. Bay Vons is a 28-year-old African American woman who discovers her DNA doesn't match anyone in her family. Feeling depressed about her life, believing she's the epitome of failure, homeless after being kicked out by fiance number 3. So they let you know she got an issue with relationship. Kicked out of his apartment. She's unemployed. She fought. This is her fifth job she was fired from for insubordination. So she has a problem with authority. She's never been married. She has no kids. Only have a rescue cat, a backpack of personal belongings, and her classic Volkswagen to show her accomplishments after 10 years of being away from home. That's all she had to show for. So yeah, since the age of 18 and now she's 28, all she have is that car, her cat, and a backpack just of her personal belongings, including her clothes. So that's my summary of Vons, Bay Vons. So I hope you did good. I hope this was helpful for you all. Oh, Mr. Bud DeWise is an awesome name. Yeah, I like it. Oh, I don't know if you hadn't seen my wizardly cat. I'm going to show you my wizardly cat tomorrow. One thing I want to add before we conclude today, when you're working on your character profile, the best way to bring your characters to life is to create a Pinterest board for your story. And you can start with the name of your book that you're working on as your Pinterest board, and find you people out there in the internet, in this world, who represent or best depict your character. And I started one. So that's why when I think Bay Vons, Jill Scott fits her description really well. There's not all the pictures of Jill Scott match up to her, but I went through a lot of her pictures in different places in Bay Von's life that Jill Scott depicts my main character. Oh yes, I am falling in love with Pinterest. I usually always use Pinterest for my recipes, and when I was I created one for Instant Pot. And sometimes millennials don't know how to cook. They just now start learning to cook when they're 27 and 28, like my oldest daughter. So Babe Vons may be known as the Instant Pot cooker or something like that, because I have a lot of Instant Pot recipes. And in Cozy Mysteries, they usually include some kind of recipe, some kind of meal, some kind of baked pastries or something like that. So I think I'm going to focus on these one dish Instant Pot meals with Bang, because she don't like to cook and she's not domesticated, but she will cook her a mean meal in that Instant Pot. So yeah, create your Pinterest board, find people to represent your characters. These will bring your putting a face with the name will bring your characters to life. And also you can start working on your town or other settings within your story and bring it to life using a Pinterest board. I also have Mr. Bud DeWiser. He looks like a wizardly look cat. He is so cute. And there's a real cat out there named, I think his name Ashu is his name. He's from Canada. So I use him and I follow him on Instagram, and his picture depicts Mr. Bud the Wiser, because Mr. Bud is very wise. And I got the name Bud the Wiser because Bay cousin Olive James, which is her favorite cousin she grew up with, he's always drinking Bud Wiser, and he don't like cats. And when she first brought her cat around, she decided, oh, that's a perfect name, Mr. Bud the Wiser. So yeah. Michelle said, Oh, good. I'm glad you think the Instant Pot idea sounds good. Yeah, because she's not a baker and she's not a cooker, but she looking for that quick, easy meals, and she'll never be compared to Aunt Ivy and her Sunday meals and her dishes and stuff. So she take the easy way out. So anyway, I hope step 3 will help you. Check back on this video later on today. I will include a link to my blog post where it summarizes everything in written form, and it'll make it easy for you to do. If you have any comments, be sure to leave it in the comment section, or any questions. I'll check it out daily and respond to you. So we will move on to step 4 tomorrow. Continue to work on this step today and get those main characters. You should at least have 4 to 5 supporting characters for your story. Maybe not that many, maybe one or more, but remember, the name is very important. Then follow those um, suggestions. I didn't write it in the chat this time, but I will write it in a blog post and link it up in the description. So be sure to check that out. Until then, happy writing, and I will see you tomorrow, the same time.